We wouldn't wanna go over top of it and have to dig it all back up there.
We should not have to dig it up, because we're looking at doing that balloon treatment,
I was at the
where they
church
line
doing something
the
for
line.
my 50th
Now,
plus,
we
50th
just
class
met this
reunion.
week with
I needed a big round tables to set a
Banner
display on.
Engineering, they're doing that sewer,
Came out of the
solid
church,
waste.
my hands were loaded, and
Yeah,
said, "I'm
wastewater.
Robin and tell me."
Facility plan.
It
And I
clipped the
gave
top of my
her,
head.
the film that we had from the televising of the lines. And so that's gonna be part of the plan. But right now, she was describing to us what you can and cannot do with that balloon treatment. And, as long as, it's just penetration of the line, that will work fine. If it's a swale, then it will not. But we know from the video that at Fifth Street there, it is not a swale.
When was the video taken?
2 years ago.
So fingers crossed.
I can't imagine too much has happened down there, but
They'll re-camera it
Yeah.
before
before they do the balloon treatment.
And it will go through a swale, it just won't fix a swale. You know what I mean? It's gonna follow wherever the pipe goes. But if there is a swale, it will allow it to slide through easier too. So. But it's best to dig a big swale up, fix it, replace the pipe.
That swale on.
Parking pipe.
Yeah. Or, no, not parking fifth, it's parking circle. It's, the mosquito coils.
Oh,
Man, that's radical.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
that was the only thing I would agree to do.
Yeah, that's awful.
24,500. You know, Clarence and Linda are coming.
I do not know. Linda's here. I don't
Oh,
know
they're-
comments.
Okay.
I haven't heard. So,
Okay. Fingers crossed. Well, he wasn't here until last week when we were talking about that.
right.
You might not have met. Oh, yeah. Well, I've got 5 o'clock on my watch.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2, approve agenda.
Would it be possible to move number 6 to after number 7?
Sure, we can do that. Everybody agree with that?
If that's the case, I would move that we approve the agenda with that change.
I'll second it.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public input. No public input. Street update, Lonnie.
Okay, you all got some printouts here in front of you. Basically just kind of breaking down the pricing. First page is what it costs per block for each individual process. And these are estimates, based on, each block is a little different for square yardage. Louisa Construction, Tom Mertz from there stopped down this afternoon and we drove around, looked at what we got. He kinda told me how the process works a little more and thinks it's definitely possible. We just dug up a little bit of stuff and to make sure it was enough material there to grind. And he believes there is, so. But, yeah, I mean, as far as this goes, if you go to page 2, and this is based on, we have 72,000 available for street improvements. Page 2 is 14 blocks of full depth reclamation with fog seal. I guess you guys got any questions? Does anybody have anything to look over?
So this chip seal 2018, that's gonna be done this year?
That, yeah, I itemized that from the overage, cause do we know what our price would even be this year? Are they honoring that price from
So,
last year?
we don't know, we just know that they're doing, at one point during the extension negotiations, he said he could do additional stuff at last year's price,
Okay.
but we never had how many additional yards he would wanna do, or if we were doing additional yards, so.
But it's last year's price.
At one point, he said he would honor last year's price. The 2018 contract is still the 2018 contract,
Okay.
it's just happening in 2019.
Okay.
So that's a completely separate deal than,
So that's the $1.75.
yeah, the $1.75, 35,000 is a completely separate, already on the books contract, aside from these additional projects.
Gotcha.
But the short answer to your question, Lonnie, is I don't know what he would charge us to do something this year.
Okay.
So we should bid that and find out what the price is gonna be this year.
Yeah, if he wants to do, well, the other option too is our request for proposal in 2018 said approximately 20,000. So if you have an extra 1,000, I mean, how big an area is 1,000 square yards?
1,000.
More than a block.
Yeah, a block is 849.
Okay,
actually,
so
according to-
a little more than a block. So I think there's an argument to be made that like an additional 1,000 is it kind of, could be fairly included in the approximation.
But that's closer to 3 blocks.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing directly on point, so you could get a bid from him and see if he was able to do additional while he was here. Kinda depends.
I'm sure he'll do additional, which is more price.
Okay.
Because if he's hauling stuff here, it's,
He's already mobilized?
laying it down doesn't take him hardly anything, so.
Okay.
So in all actuality, on this option, say it's 14 blocks, with 3,700 extra yards, that's an extra block and a half only, because we're gonna double chip that. If that makes sense. So that option there, if it's $2 for that additional square yards, just aiming on the high end there, that keeps us right under 72,000, 71,000. If we go to the next page, this is based on 17 blocks without fog seal. That number, I forgot to put a line item in there for the additional over 20,000. So if we were to have to pay $2 a square yard for 8,866, that would raise that price down by the estimate 2,258. So that wouldn't be feasible to do 17 blocks. So we'd be more looking at 16. So, or I should backtrack a little bit. We still could do 17 blocks of full depth reclamation, because at this point, I'm thinking we should not seal the library street after it's ground. We should let it hang out for a year and not waste $3,000 to chip seal it. So if you look at it that way, we probably can do 17 blocks. So,
Is your thought process, you wanna wait on that street just to see how it'll repair?
yeah, and let it dry out without a seal over it that doesn't let water out. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And then if they do decide, somebody does take over that high school and they're like, we're taking the old part down, we'll let them go out that road. And then not mess up Fifth Street. I would think by next year when we're talking about this again, we'll know what's going on with that school.
Okay, so this will be all of the street work that will be done this year.
Yes. We will, on top of this, we'll probably rent a small cold planer for the skid steer. And I was talking to Tom about this. We have spots like over here on 2nd Street going towards the manor. He said I would take that cold planer, grind that up, throw a couple bags of Portland cement in there, grind it up again, water it, pack it. He said you'd be amazed how strong that'll get sitting there. So, and then that will get sealed over eventually, but we'll just maintain it. So, and we did save some out of a different budget for one load of hot mix. So, like up on Darlow's Road, Lincoln Circle, it's kind of the same thing we do there. It's not. I mean, we do need to do that whole block, but and we still could do that whole block this year if we think it's one of our top 16.
What's the highlighted map?
Now those
much more
are
than-
our worst roads. I counted that one time, I think there's like 22 or 23 blocks there.
I think I came up with 22.
So we have to narrow down from there, and that's not including Lincoln Circle, which I kind of forgot about. But Lincoln Circle definitely needs attention. And before that blow up at the end of Lincoln Circle, it was really just up in your circle that needed
Yeah, and that's
attention.
been,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
no, but.
So we could probably patch Lincoln Circle over for a year again. Just with some hot mix. Or we could try the grinding in Portland too, up there.
And these numbers are indicative of how many linear feet, so that 1115 on.
Yes, yep, that's linear feet, yep.
Okay.
And that's done off of the mapping. I have not personally measured those. I will before they all come. So as far as extra or getting more bids, Suck Up does not do it. I did contact Bose Construction out of Brookings. They would be willing to come give us an estimate. But they did tell me it's $425 an hour for their machine, just the reclaimer. And I don't know how they run their process. Like if they're gonna charge us by the hour for the machine, the grader, the compaction, you know, plus mobilization, I have to imagine it's probably gonna end up higher than Louisa. But we can surely have them come down. But I don't know when.
A slower process there. Is this Mr. Nelson, is this something we're gonna have to, we do need to bid?
So, bid book says that if it's under the bid limit, which this is, you can get a quote. Lonnie's gotten quotes, that's fine. I think he's done the homework. If you can call him and say, can you do this many blocks for somewhere between 17 and 18.5, and they say no, you know, we checked. We're gonna have to stay close to 20,000 on the chip seal, 20,000 square yards, because we can't change the terms of that contract. Whether you can contract separately for additional chip sealing because of the heaves, I think you can. But we don't need to bid. The combination of, when Lonnie and I talked over the numbers the other day, the combination of what he wants to do for the reclamation and for the fog sealing, what did we come up with? It was like It's under 40, wasn't it, or it was definitely below 50.
Well, it's right on here.
I'm talking about 14 blocks with fog seal, so if you add 11,000 and 14,000, whatever that number is clearly under the bid limit, you're safe because you didn't know you were gonna have to deal with the heaves and the grinding at the time you contracted in 2018 and at the time you extended the contract, so. I also, I don't think you wanna pull out of the contract you extended and rebid the whole thing, cause you got a valid contract they can do and you're gonna get sued for breach of contract. You know, I mean, you could at least.
20,000 square yards is about 23 blocks, so. So we'll end up chip sealing more than we're going to
No,
reclaim.
we got a double seal every
Oh,
road
so
we're
it's gonna
going.
be doubled.
Yeah.
All of it doubled?
Yes,
Everything that's ground up.
everything that's ground has to get doubled, or we just won't do it.
So that's only 11 blocks, 12.
So,
Unless you do the extra,
well, if,
2019.
say we're on the 14 block and
Yeah, that's right.
we grind 11,886 square yards.
Okay,
So that means we do 11,886 fog seal, one coat,
okay.
and then 1186 times 11,886 times 2 is 23,772.
So that would be all of 2018's contract, and then we'd have a bit more.
Yeah.
About 2,700.
So the fog seal just protects it until
So they
the
get
chip seal can
off.
get there.
Yeah, and my recommendation would be, talking with Louisa today, if we want them to come do it, he can either be here towards the end of June, we'll make it happen, or he's looking probably more like July 15th.
Which would be good for our August to September.
Yeah. Well, what
Chip
didn't you
seal.
say,
But
July
if the chip seal
15th?
guys can
Yeah,
show
if
up
the chip seal,
July
yeah.
1st, then we're in trouble.
I thought they said, oh, was it
It's
June
the
15th
mid-June
to August
to
1st?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, June 15th, August.
Yeah, and this is something just to keep in mind for future, when we do bid. He did mention top coat would have worked with him on the dates, he knows. They would have made it happen together, so,
Top Coat is another company.
yeah, and they usually end up bidding higher, so.
We extended the 18 contract to, I believe it was July 1st and July 31st. I think he's gotta show up
Yeah.
at that point.
It was Best Buy.
Huh?
I said it was Best Buy in the resolution. It wasn't a firm date.
Right, but the actual extended contract that we have, I believe, the agreement he signed and sent to us says he'll be here between July 1st and July 31st. Do you have that?
I just was looking.
I think that's what it says.
The parties, oh, and that the work shall be performed between July 1st and the 31st of 2019.
At the last meeting, didn't somebody say that the dates were June 15th to August 1st?
That's what he said in the email,
Okay. But the contract says,
during the month of July.
Is that gonna work for, full depth, Eliza?
it
See,
depends.
the issue is he's gonna be in Brown County the first week of, the end of June, the very end, and the first week of July, he will be in Brown County.
Okay.
So he can't just jump ship really
Pick
easy
up
and
and
get
get
here.
here. Well, if we have to, we can extend, we can change the 2018 contract again. Or if we need to move it to August, I think we can do that. My understanding was that he could work around our chip seal guys, right?
For the most part,
Okay.
except for that little area there.
Okay.
He said he can move things around, but he said that one's a little tough.
Okay.
But he could come, Louisa could be here the 15th of June?
15th of July.
Oh, the 15th of July.
That's his open right now.
Okay.
So,
He said he'll make it work, but July 15th puts us in a bind, sitting here wondering if that'll be the time they show up early to chip seal.
Right.
yeah,
So,
but if the road guys are typically, they're late,
yeah. He
if they're
said,
right toward the end, August 1st, it might be perfect.
yeah, he told me, he said, I guarantee they call you into June begging you for extension. Either way, we can't let the ground road sit much more than a couple weeks without a fog coat. So ideally, it would be really, really nice if Louisa and the road guys could get on the same page and put a date down, because I don't care if it's the middle of August.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If that was, so it works best for both of them, I mean, that would be ideal with me, but. Cause if we can, I was kinda informed wrong on the fog seal. Fog seal doesn't have a whole lot of benefit to it, other than sealing the road until it gets sealed, for real, so.
So I wanna understand, do we have to fog seal? Is it your preference to fog seal?
We have to fog seal if it's gonna sit longer than 2 weeks.
Okay, and have we talked to anybody else about what they could do fog sealing for?
Then get back to you. And Louisa does not do fog seal.
Cause what I had said when I talked to, Rick again, he said, hey, look, man, to be frank with you, we wanna avoid doing fog seal unless my street guy tells me it's a necessity or he wants to do it. It's 11, 12 grand or whatever it was that I don't wanna spend
Yeah,
if we don't have to.
Basically 3 extra blocks we could be rejuvenating.
Well, and I had, said to him very, he said, well, you can do it, you don't have to, it's up to you. And when we were talking about the dates, I'd said, we voted to extend this contract rather than pursue other options, and we'd really like you here at date and time, because you were supposed to be here last year. He said, yeah, I understand that, that's fair. So I don't know this dude very well, but
I don't know him either.
I think he kind of understands that he's.
So, I've only dealt with him twice.
Okay.
So. And if that, I don't even know if you're talking to the owner, the foreman?
Rick the road guy.
Okay,
He's the general manager.
I think he's the head boss man.
okay. So, I mean, ideally, it'd be nice to tell Louisa, yeah, July 15th, put us on.
Yeah, I think we gotta tell them that.
Because the top coat guys said, yeah, we'll be there July 21st, so.
And I think we gotta tell the road guys, we need you here by the 1st of August, not a day later. End of story.
Well, they gotta be here they gotta be done by July 31st. We can
Yeah.
change that, we can do a change order or something like that if we need to.
Well, we could go, I mean, it's gonna take 2 or 3 days for this, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, we could go maybe the first week in August.
I suppose.
or
Because
into
even though
the
they
first
say
week.
2 weeks, I mean, it's probably 3 wouldn't kill the roads.
are we breaching contract by telling them they can't come before the 15th now? Or before the 18th?
The chip sealing, before the 15th? No, I mean, we can modify, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can agree to extend the contract dates, and there are certain things that you can do once you have them, like to make slight modifications or changes so that everybody's happy. If we can get him to agree, so long as we're not changing dollar amount or yardage or like all the specs with respect to the quality he's putting down. We haven't changed the material terms of the contract. It's making the dates that work for us, so. We've got room to wiggle on when we wanna do it. I don't know what road guy, Louisa, I don't know what they wanna do, but my preference would be if you can get them locked in for the 15th.
Do it.
And then say, hey, road guy, we know they're gonna be here the 15th, you gotta be here
Okay.
the final week of
I-
it.
Within
agree.
2 weeks of that.
I agree. So then basically our only other issue is, that extra 8,800 yards.
Mhm.
Cause if we do that and we got them that close, we don't need the fog seal. So,
Well, the 2018 thing has been bid, you know,
mhm.
that was bid, that's done. If you've got an extra 8,000, that you feel you can do, we should get a quote from him as to the price. And it makes sense to do it because he's not mobilizing.
Right.
You're gonna be, if you combine the Louisa agreement with getting him to do an additional 8, you're still under the bid limit.
Right.
And you're under the bid limit because 18 was a separate contract that was bid, so I think you're okay.
What's the security bond on that, 10%?
I don't know off the top of my head, I think it's 10% bond, yeah.
Lonnie, what does that fog seal actually consist of? What do they do?
It's an emulsion oil
Okay,
and
it isn't just
it's a
water.
fast drying, so
Okay.
it seals the ground so that any, loose impediment particles or anything doesn't break loose and we start getting washboarding basically.
It's a different material here, because down there, they just watered it. They had to keep it watered so it was covered and it was fine, but
And
you're
that's
talking different
actually
product.
Probably a
Okay.
plan I'm gonna stick to is
Yeah.
probably,
It's just a oil-based stuff then.
if we keep it moist, it will be a lot less likely
Yeah.
to break up, so.
Okay,
Well, we get more done and more bang for our buck if we can get these guys close enough together that we don't have to fog seal. So
Exactly.
if you just put a little bit of pressure on the road guy and say, look, I mean, we didn't just dump on you. And we could have just said, you know what, that business that you would have gotten in 18, it's gone. It's gone, sorry, we're giving it to somebody else. So, we were gracious enough to give you a shot at it in 2019. Now it's time for you to realize, we need you here at this time because there are other factors involved. Get her done.
I could be wrong, Lonnie, but I think not sealing in 18 was probably a blessing in disguise, given all the road heaves.
I
It may
do
have,
too.
it may have been,
But I don't know.
it probably was, so. So I'm not blaming them for that, it's just, it'd be really nice to get a time frame locked in better than, yeah, we'll be there.
Well, and maybe if you did say to the road guys, you know, you gave us from the 15th of July to the beginning of August, we're even gonna say, we'll go from the 15th, excuse me, the 15th of June, right? To the beginning of August. We'll even shorten that up and say, you don't have to worry about from the 15th of June to the 15th of July, but you better be here between the 15th of July and August 8th.
Right,
You better be here.
yeah, I agree, I think that's
It's your last chance,
it.
so.
okay.
In which case, then, we're talking about 17 blocks without the fog seal.
Yeah, that's the path I would like to see it go.
What's the best bang for our buck? Does everybody think that's a workable option? I mean, is it the best
Yeah.
case scenario?
I agree.
We gotta do something to get some streets
We
taken
gotta
care
do,
of.
Yeah, well,
absolutely have to do it.
The only other option we have is to hire somebody for a couple of weeks that's dependable, which we can't even seem to hire anybody for any part-time job in the
Exactly.
city. And to help Lonnie do the thing that they were gonna do on their own.
Yeah, but he isn't even positive that that would
That
work,
works,
so
yeah.
let's go with the professional and get it done.
Yep.
And, yeah,
Well, I would be willing to make a motion that if we can, convince the road guys that they're gonna need to be here between July 15th and say August 8th. Then we basically let Loiso Construction know.
August 8th or August 1st?
Well, I said August, yeah, I said August 8th because it's like Dave said, if they start July 15th on this, it's gonna take 3 or 4 days for them to finish it. Now they're almost halfway into that first week. So really, 2 weeks and 2 days, 2 weeks and 4 days, that's probably okay. And then we do the,
Yeah, it would be okay.
I mean, a few days is probably not gonna hurt anything. 2 more weeks is not a good thing.
No.
But if the road guys can commit to being here between July
It'd be better
15th,
if they could come on the 22nd, give Louisa a week, July 15th through the 19th, and then.
okay, so you're saying, yeah, make it a week later, say from July 22nd to August 8th.
Correct.
I like that even better. If we
Okay.
place in my motion that we tell the road guys to be here between July 22nd and August 8th, then if Loiso Construction is here on the 15th and they do their thing, we should get the largest bang for our buck without the fog seal. $71,056.75 approximately as an estimate.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I wanna hear the motion again. I don't know about this if thing.
I don't understand
Yeah.
either.
Well,
Then what if they don't? Then we just have to come back and regroup and redo this, or?
well, no. If the road guys can't be here, and these other guys try to show up on the 15th, we can't even have them come in on the 15th. It's almost like 2018 all over again. We just let the roads go to hell another
Well, they
year.
can come do it, but then we just have to fog seal it.
Well, but then it's only good for how long after it's fog sealed?
6 weeks max.
About 6 weeks.
Okay, so we still only got, okay, maybe the road guys then could show up toward the end of August and we'd still be okay, but I think, okay, my motion was, tell the road guys, forget the word if, you will be here between July 22nd and August 8th of 2019, because we're going to need you to take care of this, because we're not going to fog seal approximately 17 blocks that Loiso Construction is going to reclaim.
Then what if something happens and they don't end up coming then?
Well, if they don't end up coming, it's no different than last year. We had a motion that we were gonna have them come and chip seal, how much? And they never came. Well, the sky didn't fall, it just didn't happen here. And then we had to renegotiate for this year.
They don't come, we can
Tom
fill
Mertz,
out their performance bond and sue them for breach, not to move. I mean, that's an option.
We didn't do that last year,
No.
right?
But we
didn't.
didn't reclaim last year.
Right. I mean, the amount of time, effort, and money you spend to get the 10% bid bond on
In your motion, you're
$35,000.
saying Louisa's coming July 15th, that's happening.
But
And
isn't
then-
that kind of basically what they're saying? They're ready to commit to that.
So Louisa's happening no matter what road guy says.
Well,
That's
Because
what
they
we're
have
saying.
to be here, they can't be here while he's working, they gotta be, to wait till they're done. And then we have approximately a 2-week window in there that they've got to get it done within that time. That's
I
the deal.
understand that, I'm just saying,
look,
if something happens, we're doing the Louisa no matter what. That's happening,
well,
okay? For whatever reason, road guy says, yeah, we'll be there, and then they don't show up. Then do we need to do fog sealing until they get here?
yeah, and I don't know if you can do this, but Tom Mertz suggested telling the road guys if they are not here by the required date, that they have to pay for the fog sealing to get done.
That sounds like it.
to buy us the extra
So
time.
this-
Yeah, but now is that a separate contract?
That would be an impermissible
Yeah.
modification
So we
of the
can't do
extended
I
that.
figured that when he said
Yeah.
that, but
I think what you do, I think you can, the mayor signs the contracts, right? You're voting to, what you're voting to do, I think you can vote to allow the mayor authority to negotiate for contingencies. I think you can vote to
That
say,
sounds better.
I'm gonna authorize the mayor to, in conjunction with the finance officer, the street superintendent, the city attorney, to negotiate with Louisa to do full depth reclamation for the approximate cost of $18,041, services to be performed either no earlier than July 1st, no later than July 20th, 2019. Authorize the mayor, the street superintendent, the city attorney, and the finance officer to negotiate with the road guy to perform up to X number of dollars of fog sealing to be performed on those same days. I mean, you can give Mayor Tom the authority, as long as you don't go over the bid amount. I think we can contract those things kind of separately and as needed. Lonnie, if you're sure that they can be here by July 15th, we tell them that's the day, and then we tell the road guy he can't be here till July 20th or July whatever. I mean,
yeah, he said July 15th is good, so
That's my motion.
it'd be nice to call him when I walk out here and say, put us on your calendar, so.
So you wanna do the motion that Sam said?
Nope.
To,
Nope, my motion stands the way I said it.
okay,
The road guys are told that they need to be here between July 22nd and August 8th. The Loiso Construction has been already suggested that they're willing to be here on the 15th. They're here on the 15th. That's irrelevant. But the road guys have got to be here on the 22nd through August 8th, at which time they will do the chip sealing, and it's all a good deal. And that's what I basically said, and that's what Darla seconded.
You still good with the second?
Yeah.
So we're not doing the thing with allowing the mayor to just negotiate the contingencies and go from there.
If we want contingencies, well, we can deal with them depending upon whether it rains 8 feet in August.
Right, but then if we give him the power to do that, we don't have to come back and do this every time.
Well, we got a little bit of time to
Every time it
maybe
rains.
make that contingency, so let's think about that for a little while. Cause I think we could sit here and make contingencies until 9, 10 o'clock tonight, but we're already thinking we're not gonna get paid for tonight's meeting, and it's starting to get to the point where it should get paid for. So what I'm saying is, we're overthinking this. The guys said they'd be here on the 15th.
One of
There,
them.
well, okay, but the other one already said they would be here somewhere between X and Y. And Y was August 1st. We're already giving them an extra week. So we're saying, if you be here between July
But we're also
22nd and
taking
August
away
8th.
2 weeks.
Well, we already know that they're usually late.
Well, that
The-
doesn't matter, I mean, the contract says what it says, so now we're telling them, you can't come those 2 weeks in the contract that you said you were going to come. I mean, I don't think we can,
Well, I see what you're saying there.
I mean, you wanna play hardball, that's fine, but you might be playing too hard. I mean, you want people to,
I'll bet you
you
that
want
if you
people to
said
have
to the
wiggle room,
road
and we have to
guy,
have some wiggle room too,
I
so.
bet you if we said to the road guy, we'll even give you a little bit less strict and say you can even come here later, but I bet you they'd jump on it.
Sam, can you repeat what you said for you?
I guess I just think you give the mayor the authority to contract for approximately $19,000 with Loiso, services to be performed no earlier than the 15th of July, no later than the 20th of July. If they can do that, that's what we do. And then we tell the road guy to get, the road guy's already gotta be here between that amount of time, but we just,
Well, so then in that case, what if the road guy does show up June 15th?
Oh, he can't
He can't.
anymore.
He can't.
His current contract extension says 1 July to 31 July.
Okay, so what if he shows up July 1st?
And we're gonna.
15 days before we already said that the road guy, that the Loiza was gonna be here. I mean, no matter what, there's a contingency that's shot.
Sure, but we're gonna tell him he's gotta be here. We're gonna make a change to the performance time, which is not a substantial change to the contract in terms of the material time.
So we can contract, the big holdup is gonna be the road guy. So can't we
Right.
contact the road guy and say, we need a written commitment from you that you will be here between the 22nd of July and the 8th of August? And we need that in writing within, say, a week,
Yeah.
okay? And if we get that, then we're set to go. Does that work?
In my opinion, I think we need two motions here.
Thank you, that's what I was gonna say, let's do a motion for Louisa and make that black and white, and then we'll do the fuzzy stuff with,
I think at the end of this, Lonnie gets the verbal commitment for Louisa, they'll be here the 15th, and we don't sign a contract with Louisa until we have road guy move. You know what I mean? Once road guy commits to the 22nd or whatever, we can contract with Louisa.
So tomorrow we'll get in contact with the road guy and tell him, we need this in writing that you will be here between those 2 dates. Okay,
And he signed that, I mean, Pat and I were on the phone, and I was on the phone with him yesterday to get the extension dates changed and signed, and no problem.
no problem.
I called him at 11 o'clock, I said, I need this by noon, I got it at 11:40, so.
So, then, I'm not telling you guys how to make a motion, but
Well, my motion was already made and it was seconded, so either we vote on it the way it is, and I could just say, I moved the previous question, and we vote it down, and somebody else can make a motion, but
so Sam, were you saying that we cannot do the Louisa one until we talk to the road guy?
We can do Louisa, we
Okay.
contract with Louisa right now, I'm just telling you, I don't
So can we
think.
separate that out into two things?
You could, I'm just telling you from a make sure we don't get hosed standpoint, it's probably better to know what date the road guy's coming on, make sure that date's after Louisa gets here. And that should be in writing with Louisa and with road guy.
we'll contact him tomorrow morning.
Right. But yeah, Dan's point is correct, you guys have a motion and a second, so you gotta do something.
and I basically said exactly what you just said. I said, tell the road guys to be here between July 22nd and August 8th. Louisa has already committed that they pretty much are ready to be here July 15th. Timing works perfectly. That was the motion. That was the second.
Okay, then we need to vote on that motion.
The only
So,
thing
is there,
about that motion is that, another agreement would probably have, the extension of performance would have to be done with road guy
Right.
because of July 1st or July 31st.
Right, we're actually giving them an extra week to the 8th of August.
True, but you're also.
Now,
taking-
we're taking away that first part, which we're assuming he's probably gonna be heaving a sigh of relief, but you're right, we will have to talk to him and explain to him that, you know, we're willing to work with you and make it even a little later, but that's what I said. We talk to the road guys and tell them they need to be here between July 22nd and August 8th. If that doesn't ever happen, well then, I guess we're not gonna get the job done anyway. So,
And your motion had the estimate of 71,056.75 in it.
yep, for 17 blocks without a fog seal, is what I said.
That's gotta be different because you've already committed to spend the $35,000 of 2018. You're talking about entering into a different contract.
Well, but this is 2018.
I got that.
And it's also got 8,866 yards for 2019. We're just making an assumption that it's gonna come in at $1.75.
Right, so, but what I'm telling you is, we cannot add the 8,866
I see what you're saying.
to that contract. We gotta do that separately at another time.
So technically speaking, it would be this page without the fog seal.
Yeah.
which really makes it cheaper yet. By $11,000, so now only a $60,000 project. Okay,
That's already taken out of
what's taken out of there?
there. It's still 71,000 because we added more blocks,
I realize that, but we can't really add more blocks.
so.
Because technically speaking, he's right, the road guys agreed to a contract for 20,000, end of story.
Right.
That 8,866, it'd be nice if we could say that they're just gonna automatically honor that, but we don't know that. So we can't put that into the motion. So technically speaking, I'd like to rescind my motion. Where's that 3,700, page 1 of the actual, sorry, it's actually page 2, right? It's the 14 blocks with fog seal. Line number 3 is gone. Because we're not gonna fog seal. So we're saving ourselves $11,886. I don't care about the other 8,000 feet, 8,000 yards yet. That we're gonna actually have to contact the road guys and do a new contract on for 19.
But if we do a new contract, then we can rebid it.
No, because it'd be under the $50,000 bid limit.
So if we do the 17 blocks without fog seal, it's $55,541.25.
Did you say it was again, 55 what?
55,541.25.
This is the total amount for all the contracts.
So that would be the 35,000 for road guy,
Uh-huh.
and then the 18 and 2,500.
Okay.
But,
But that's got the 8866 in
yeah,
there.
that's
We
an
can't do that one, I thought we
unacceptable
said.
No, no,
That's
you,
the 20,000 at $1.75.
So you took, oh, I see, you changed 55, 15, 50 to just 35,000 even.
That is correct.
I got you.
Okay.
And obviously the square yards went from 28,866 to 20,000.
Correct.
Whoever does the motion on page 17 block, whoever does the motion needs to propose to authorize a dollar amount of approximately lines 3 plus line 4 for LaSalle. That's all we need to do.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Can you repeat that?
Look on the third one, 17 blocks without fog seal. Add lines 3 and 4, and that's the dollar amount, the approximate dollar amount.
Because you're saying the 20,000's already done.
Correct.
Understood. And we just gotta tell them when to be here, is all.
Right.
Which doesn't need to be in the motion.
So that's 20,541.25.
Yep.
Call it 23,000 just to be safe, up to and including.
21,000. That makes
Well,
sense.
I'll make a try.
Okay.
now wait a minute, we already had a motion, we're gonna have to
I
vote on that.
rescinded it.
I rescinded my motion.
Okay, and you
And
got,
I'm fine with
okay, we're
that.
good, so that motion isn't in effect, okay.
I'll make a motion that we have Luis, is that it? Construction. Do a full depth reclamation on, and their mobilization fee for approximately $21,000 with a performance date of approximately July 15th, starting July 15th.
Is that it?
The other part's already been done.
Yep,
Okay,
that's good.
I will second your motion.
Okay, so we got David and Melissa. Okay, now we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
To approximately 21K.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You can contact them.
Yep, I'll call him when I get out of here.
Okay,
And the other thing we'll just need to do is contact road guys.
we'll contact them first thing in the morning and get a, tell them we need a signed, agreement that they will be here between the 22nd of July and the 8th of August. Okay.
Sam, is that something you want to write up?
Yeah, I'll call him and let him know what's going on, and
Do you want to call them or do you want us to call them?
I get along really good with him, I've been dealing with him, it's up to you guys, whatever you wanna do.
I don't care, if you want to call them, that's fine.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, that sounds good coming from our attorney. Okay,
Can you
So,
talk about
now-
the next year at the same time?
we're done with that.
Feel him out for the $2
right?
or less,
Yeah.
maybe even $1.75.
We're done with that for tonight. Okay. Now, Dan wanted number 7 next, executive session if needed.
Thanks, guys.
We need an executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2-1.
And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put the one on there. I didn't know if it was needed. It's not needed that I know of, but.
I have no need.
Okay, so we don't need executive session. Motion to waive council pay for meeting.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion,
I'm voting no.
you're moving no, okay. So we have 4 yes and 1 no vote. Okay, motion still carried, 4-1. Motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay.
Second.
Melissa and David. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.